What's up, everyone? Welcome back to a Victory Monday Showdown breakdown, where we're taking a look at the Giants on the road, taking on the Patriots. But Bobbywow, what a week! It was pretty amazing weekend of DFS.
Good morning on a Victory Monday.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Thank you, cuz. Love cuz. But yeah, listen, maybe it was, I don't know. If you watched Tournament Tactics, Bobbywow, and at one point I said, Bobbywow, with the way things are going this week, I had a revelation that I think I'm going to go all in on Tyrod Taylor and nothing else. It's just Tyrod.
And you called him Ty God, and you were right.
The Ty God. I told you guys, I do my best on weird weeks.
Look, the gummy revelations might be 100% at this point. Spot on.
Now, in fairness, the gummy took me to Adonai Mitchell and Joe Mechie, and Mechie. Obviously, Mechie didn't work out. Frankimus Prime winning swag back. You know how many people won Pocket Mini tickets this week? You know how many people took tournaments down? I play them up here. We got just everybody was winning everywhere. It was one of the greatest 7 p.m. like half hours in my Discord channel that I've ever just win after win after win after DM. Kev, I can't, I've been with you all season. It's my 5th week winning in a row. I never had profitable. The messages were crazy.
They were. And every pocket, like you talked about, you look up, it's a helmet on the top. I don't know how that keeps happening, but it does.
And in the, you see, some of you guys were doubting. I get it. I understand it. Took a minute. It took a minute to get there. And Brissett, the same thing. It was Ty God and Brissett comes through late as well for the smash.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, I was, I finished so high in everything, Bobbywow, made so much money, but I don't have any first placers. Like I got a 16th, I got a 3rd, I got a 7th.
You and I were duking it out in a contest.
There was a couple where we were back and forth in it.
The $2 mini max, we were right there, and you ended up with 3rd place. You almost took it down. Yes,
it was just great. It was a really good. It was just a really good overall. Yeah, Frankimus Prime crushing it again. Frankimus has been on a tear.
He's been on a heater.
Yeah. So great job there. It was just spectacular. It couldn't have been any better. Really, nothing really went wrong. Everything that we were on, you ready for this? The lineup that I made on the draft battle show early in the week.
Yes.
Even that was good enough to take down like most small tournaments. And that was on a snake draft format where I had players taken away from me. So that was really great. I think getting on to Kamani Vidal heavy really helped. The core of Achan and Bijan really helped.
Yep. We were all over paying up for that running back position, not paying down to Devin Neal, which helped.
Yeah. Well, Vidal was the guy and had a ton of that.
And he was somewhat pricey on FanDuel. But
on FanDuel. That's right. Yeah. That's right. FanDuel had its own sort of, but FanDuel crushed as well. So it was really, really great. And of course, I had 35% Seahawks defense. By the way, this upcoming week, I had Seahawks defense and Chargers. The Chargers one, unfortunately, one of the, like, it depended which one you had. If you had Seahawks, those were those lineups that really have a chance. But Max Brosmer, guys, he's back maybe next week. We got another opportunity with the Commanders. Don't half-ass it. I'm going to just give you the heads up on what to do. Do not half-ass that. We're going heavy load, targeting the Vikings offense no matter what, with whatever defense, no matter what the price. So very exciting week of NFL DFS. We've got one more game left. And in this game, Bobbywow, do you know who's playing tonight?
Much more fun. It's much more fun than it looks on paper. I think.
Yeah. Do you know who's playing tonight?
It's Jackson Dart. You chose Jackson Dart.
Jackson Dart is playing tonight.
It's #him.
He is him. Yeah. The first lineup I made in the Players Club. This is what I'm talking about. The first lineup we made on the Players Club. First of all, by the way, everybody who was on the Players Club on Saturday knows this, because the only quarterbacks that I was like, I'm going to double or triple up on Ty God and Brissett, and then every other quarterback play, I was like, all right, I'll make one with Lawrence, but I don't like it. I'll make one with Allen, but I don't like it. That's how the Players Club went. For everybody who was there, all the VIPs, DFS Army subscribers, all of the YouTube members that joined the Players Club on Saturday. You got to be a member, pro member to join. I mean, the first lineup made a 165. 165 won everything. And I mean, if you were in those 15, 20 person, 10, 15, if you were in anything like that, it won everything. You know why? I have discovered a secret of what's going on. So many, there's just tons of people that seem to be in those playing the ETR optimal.
Interesting.
Yeah. So you already know, like, you know, when there's like a bad chalk, like JJ McCarthy a couple of weeks ago, or even this week with CJ Stroud on the road. That's what they're playing.
CJ Stroud was chalk this past week too, and we called it out. We said, "Don't play CJ Stroud, please."
Yeah, that's what they played. That's what
They're
they
gonna do it again.
So we got a showdown to take down, but of course I got to remind everybody. I just got word from the producer that there was a lot of demand for the Black Friday deal, which ended, and so they're like, let's do a Cyber Monday. And I'm like, I don't want to do any more of this. This is crazy. The promo's too much. The reduction is too much. I don't want to do it. But they're forcing it. So they let it go for one more day. Cyber 25 is the code. You got one more day to lock in 25% off any of the DFS Army subscriptions. I just highly recommend, if you're a DFS Army member, if you want to be part of the crew, if you want access to everything that we're doing, this is a family, this is a team that is just, everybody helps each other. It's a beautiful thing. Cyber 25, 25% off. You do the VIP. The best one is the yearly VIP because it's already discounted to almost half price before you even do it, and you get another 25% off. It's crazy. For those who like to do arbitrage betting or just making money all the time, Sharp app, John Marchese is just month of November, 1460 pregame arbs in Florida, where there's only one sports book. You can do pregame arbs from any state. It's $69 for that plan. He's up $1,500. It's just a thing where you make money every single day. Not everybody's about making money every day, but if you do, you check out Sharp app, you do the 69 plan. Does not matter what state you're in. John will help you get started right here in the chat. Right there, Josh Johnson says, thanks to DFS Army. 3 weeks, a member took down his first tourney. First place in the 5K mini max, 50 cent turned into 5. Fuck yeah, dude. Fuck yeah. One of the fun things about being a part of DFS Army and just having access to like the domination station tool is you can play. A lot of people think we have a very small player pool this week. Yes. Oh my God. My player pool is super small. So we'll get into that in a second. But like one of the cool things about when you have access to DFS Army and the domination station, you can play in these nickel games. You could play in these 10-cent games, these 25-cent games, and do max multi-entry and sort of play DFS the way, quote unquote, the pros play it. But you don't have to put up $3-4 grand per slate to have that kind of mass multi-entry fun. Oh, Kalshi came online. That's fucking awesome. I'm telling you, with the ARB tool on Sharp app and now with the Kalshi and Robinhood, all these other players getting into prediction markets and sports prediction markets, the opportunity is crazy. No matter where you are, you don't need a traditional sports book in order to do it. All right, so back into it though. Let's get into tonight's game, and we're going to take a quick look at ownerships for the captain position. I think these are a little bit wacky. It's still early ownerships, but Drake May, 26%, Bobby Dubs. Look at the price on Trevion Henderson. This is incorrect.
Yeah, it's incorrect. And can we talk about something up top quick? Okay, and it's Drake May. We need to address this. Drake May is in the MVP conversation, and rightfully so. He is. Burns would be, if he wasn't married, I think Burns would have second thoughts about Drake May because the efficiency metrics pop off the chart so heavily. But that doesn't always translate in DFS terminology. That doesn't always translate toward fantasy production. Okay. So when you see a guy like Drake May at 30%, understand, yes, it's the Giants. They stink. Yes, he's having an MVP season, but we haven't exactly seen DFS MVP like numbers out of him any week this season yet. So let's just keep that in mind as we look at ownerships and build our lineups.
26% Drake May is something I'm going to fade fully. I'm not going to have any of it.
Thank you for consolidating my thoughts into one sentence there. Yes.
Yeah. I'm just keeping it real. I'm not going to have any Drake May as captain. He's the most expensive player on the slate. He does not have a history of putting up big scores. It's a game that I think that Trevion Henderson should, by all means, dominate. That doesn't mean I'm not going to use Drake May. I love Drake May. But I just think as a captain, that does not make a whole lot of sense to me. I don't really buy that this will be the final. Trevion Henderson is the best captain, and I'd sooner play Jackson Dart at captain.
100%. First, for significantly cheaper, by the way.
Yeah. I'd sooner play Dart because if the Giants are making a game of this by some miracle, it's going to happen because Dart is going bananas.
Yeah. That's really the only path toward a competitive game. I agree.
Yeah. Trevion Henderson. Other names that I think are, captain candidate. It's a very small group here. I think Wandy, Steffi Diggs. Those two.
Steffi Diggs, he is, but my gosh, man.
Not excited about it.
He's hard to predict. As hard to predict as this backfield is.
Yeah. And then maybe Hunter Henry on the back end, just because Hunter Henry he's that guy.
He's that showdown guy. Yeah. And he popped last week.
Yeah.
Or 2 weeks ago, whenever that was.
Grogu is asking about the new staff, and I think yes. I think yes, Grogu. They will probably limit his running. I think that the last coaching staff got fired because they were letting him go so crazy.
You'll see him sliding more. You'll see him taking less risks, but he's still going to run the football.
Is it bad that I used his birth name instead of his moniker? I said Grogu.
Such a nerd, man.
I am such a nerd. I'm such a dork. You should see my YouTube algorithm. It's all like Star Trek, Star Wars, shorts.
You got a room full of baby Yodas at the house.
I don't keep items, but I
okay.
I don't have that, but I do. It's like my YouTube algorithm, it knows what I want, and it's like I will feed you more Star Wars clips. I will keep you here for an hour just learning about Lord Vader.
I can see you've watched probably 100 hours worth of Is Darth Maul Still Alive videos.
All that, how Darth Maul was turned to the Sith. All of that. I have it all. It just pops up nonstop. Alternate May and Dart as captain. Yeah, I mean, no, I don't. It's okay. Listen,
look,
I'm gonna.
May's fine. He's fine. He's fine. I don't want to. Because here's what's going to happen. He's going to pop off and everyone's going to say, you suck. You told me this. The reality is this. Drake May has not hit a 30-point game yet this season. And he played the Bengals last week and scored 17. This kind of upper teens, lower 20s. That's kind of thematically where Drake May ends up because the Patriots football game style is to run the football first. And Drake May, as efficient as he is, God bless Burnsy's heart, he has not been that productive as a fantasy player. So you see him at 17-7, top ownership, 30% projected at captain. That's something to go underweight on in tournaments.
It's too expensive. The price is too high. It's very restrictive. When you have a price that intense, what ends up happening is he doesn't just need to score the most points. He needs to score the most points by a lot in order to make it work. So I think there's merit there in just a straight comfortable fade of Drake May captain. Plenty of flex exposure, but maybe when I say fade, if this says he's going to be 26%, I think that number will come down. But maybe go 10%, maybe go 0 and suck it up, sack up, put your balls on the table. The hammer's coming down. You put the balls on the table. I want it to hit. It's very painful. Very painful when the hammer drops. All right. I don't like to think about that. All right, let's get a look at some the matchup tool here and just get a sense of usages and whatnot. I think it is noteworthy, Bobby Dubs, that I think we all saw it, we all expected it, but it did happen as expected. Last week, the return of Ramondre did not render Trevion Henderson, useless. As a matter of fact, he continued to get the bulk of the carries, 65% of the running back snaps. 60% of the carries. Yeah. Most of the carries. Ramondre sucks.
Okay.
He does. He fucking fumbles all the time. Why would you put him out there? So I think it's still going to be Trevion Henderson. Got some targets last week as well. By the way, we DFS played Trevion Henderson a ton last week, anticipating this. He got like 7 goal line carries that didn't pluck through. It's the only reason last week why that wasn't a glorious DFS play.
Okay, let me ask you this question then. More likely to happen, Drake May as the captain nuts on DraftKings, or a lineup with Trevion and Ramondre as the nuts in the same lineup, both in the flex.
Man, I kind of think the Trev and Ramondre combo is more likely.
I do too. It feels like we're going to see both running backs. We're going to see Trev as number one, but I think Ramondre would not shock me if he scores here yet.
Yeah.
Not in the slightest.
I did have a whole thing. Forgot about Trey. Dre was good a while ago. Luckily, there's a few different Dre's out there to choose from. That's the benefit of that song.
Could be a lot. Keep Burnsy accountable here.
It could be Trey. It could be Dre. I can switch it real quick. I'm not saying anything to Burns about Tyrod. He crushed it though this week. Burns, I'm not crying for Burns. He absolutely smashed this week. Like, it's fine because
Burns always smashes. He always has one play that he feels strongly about, but he smashes whether that,
yeah.
You guys are
and this is the other possibility. Like, do they swing it back over to Ramondre a little more? Does it go more 50-50 in a game like this? I just think that it doesn't matter that much because they priced Trevion Henderson, I think, a little lower than where he should have been, almost in anticipation of that. So I don't know.
A good call. Yes, agreed.
I'm not sure it matters that much. I feel like the price point on Trevion is not that bad. That's like pretty amazing for a starting running back as a favorite at home against a team that can't stop the run. The whole thing is nuts. All right, let's keep going here. Hunter Henry, this guy is going to smash every once in a while. He just does that, right? Last week, Hunter Henry broke the game, broke the slate, 30% target share, caught a bunch of touchdowns. It's in play again. Austin Hooper getting 56% of the snaps. That is very turd-worthy.
As long as he's a turd price, yes.
Yeah, that's turd viability right there. I like
not
this
very turdly price, so that's the problem.
Yeah. We'll see what the price is. Well, I can't see it on the screen, Bobbywow. I got to get to the next one.
That's true. Sorry.
I do think this is very telling from last week. And I would love from the chat to let me know if there's anything that kind of was the cause or effect of this. But look at the wide receiver snaps. Booty and Mac Hollins were on the field every snap, 85%, with Stephon Diggs as the guy who was just mixing in the slot at 50%. Now, you got to take away from that. I kind of, Diggs is the most expensive of this trio.
It's kind of the same old, right? With this passing offense, there is no true alpha number one. Diggs played that role to a degree in terms of target share, but last week was a perfect example. Very competitive game against the Bengals. The game was like a 26-20 game, and the Patriots just ran the football. They throw to whoever's open. Drake May doesn't have a favorite. He's out there completing passes to whoever's open. The best play. He's making the best play in front of him, and that's just how they operate.
Yeah, it is telling. There's a lot of running. I think there'll be a lot of running this week. I think Diggs is out of the game. So what's happening is they're bringing in Hooper, leaving Booty and Mac Hollins in there as blockers for those plays. And so they're running out of that 12 formation with the double tight end set.
And I think that might be the most telling thing for me is you see a guy like Matt Collins. Look at Matt Collins, what happened in a competitive matchup when they completely committed to the ground game. You've got his big body out there as a blocker, which also frees him up to run more routes as a pass catcher. I mean, Matt Collins getting 86% of the snaps, commanding the highest target share of any wide receiver on the field. That's really interesting.
Yeah, effectively, and the chat is on it and correct. Those guys are the bigger guys. Like, right, Stephon Diggs is not a blocker, so you can see it. I mean, you could see it in the snap count. It's telling the story. Look at what's going on. Diggs is out there or Hooper's out there, right? They're running that double tight end, 12 personnel. They're keeping Booty and Hans in there. Now, here's the thing, though. They out of that alignment, they're going to throw half the time, right? You can't just always run it. So this is why these guys end up getting some extra targets. And last week it was Matt Collins. That's just, variance. This week it could easily shift to Booty. Easily. He's out there. This guy's out there. So I think with these wide receivers, I think the best way to approach it is like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah. I mean,
they all have some viability. Yeah. I mean, I hate to say it. That's not it's kind of a DFS thing, but I don't fucking know. But you can extrapolate that at Diggs, Booty, and Hollins are all very relevant for their own special reasons, with Demario Douglas getting a little bit into the mix. Probably an overpriced piece compared to what he potentially can do. All right, let's shift gears to the Giants. And there is something telling about last week. Listen, there is something telling here. Jamo was the quarterback. We don't know how things carry over from Jamo to the next guy. But Tyrone Tracy, you better call Tyrone. Call him. Took over. 70%. That's all I was going to do.
I swooned for a second. I don't know what just happened there. Wow.
It's I know. It gets the heart pacing. Tyrone Tracy, 70%. D Sizzles, only 30%, but I did notice that fucker is still in the game around the goal line. So, buyer beware with either of these two. Buyer beware.
He won't go away. D Sizzles won't go away.
No.
Come on.
And the Patriots are the worst possible matchup for a running back just about this year.
Yeah. Patriots have been excellent.
Yeah. Well, you know who else was really good against running backs, though? The Eagles before Thursday.
Well, the Bears are just a premier football team now, so
maybe it's that. I'm now being told that you could play Monungai and Swift every week. They're both great. Like, that's how proficient the rushing attack is for the Bears. Congrats, by the way, on that amazing win for your beloved Chicago Bears team, who are now,
we're at the top of the NFC.
When I said they knocked the curse off when they beat Washington, man, they did it in style.
I want the haters to just sit back and enjoy. Let it simmer a little bit.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough for the haters. All right, but it's mostly Tyrone Tracy. He definitely is the only one that catches a pass. But at the same time, bear in mind, this is the number 1 ranked or number 2 ranked Patriots run defense. It's not an area that I really want to get heavily involved with.
Especially Patriots at home.
Yeah. Now, forget the target counts from last week, people. That was Jamo. Whole different quarterback, whole different thing. But last week they played Theo Johnson. Again, he got a 13% target share, did really well. Daniel Bellinger mixed in quite a bit. And not so much in the passing game, but he'll catch a pass too. I think these guys will be out there a little bit, but I also think that the Giants fall behind in this game and will have to abandon this double tight end nonsense, which will push us to this trio. And this is important for us to understand. So Hodgins has risen a little bit up in his usage, Wandy last week went crazy, but it's Wandale, Slayton, and Hodgins as your trio of wide receivers.
Just a little thing, we've seen kind of Wandale's rise with Jammo. Wandale has been a much better wide receiver with Jammo under center. Now, that's not to say he hasn't been good with Jackson Dart, but one guy that was starting to ascend with Jackson Dart before he got hurt was Darius Slayton. He's the guy I would keep an eye on here in a game like this, where you need a guy who can kind of beat a defense over the top. The Patriots have a really good kind of shutdown cornerback that is not going to be shadowing Darius Slayton here. To me, he's kind of like the difference maker in this Giants offense. With Jackson Dart and Darius Slayton need to get going here for this to be competitive. He's kind of like the key to the game for me. I'll have some extra shares of him because they did start showing some chemistry toward the end here before Dart got hurt.
Yeah. I put Hodgins in the same boat, though. He's new to the team. We don't really know what his role would look like with Dart under center, but certainly Hodgins got a bunch of targets under JMO last week.
Yep.
So, yeah, I think Hodgins, Slayton, Wandale, all perfectly acceptable combos or pieces from the Giants. I think the Giants' passing attack is probably a more interesting way to attack this game compared to the running backs. Listen, road underdog running backs. Yeah, it could work, but like, all right, it doesn't normally work. It worked on with the Bears, but like, I'm not going to keep going back to that. And that's it. Jalen Hyatt doesn't get used. Gunnar Olszewski only out there on a minimal, almost never occasion. Gunnar.
No, he stinks.
Not good. All right, let's get over to the Dom station. We'll look at the flex side of things. I want to just take a look at some of these salaries. Then we'll jump over to DraftKings and kind of see how it all comes together. But we already talked about our captain spot. For the most part, like I said, we're seeing some. I'm going to hit refresh here and see if this updates. But we're seeing very heavy ownership exposure pointing to Drake May captain, followed by Henderson and Dart, similar. And then you've got sort of, after we've gone through this, sort of the rest of these guys, right? You've got a little Wandale, a little Tyrone, Stephon Diggs. Interesting that Stephon Diggs is so much higher, for example, than Booty, or I can't even find Mac Hollins. Yeah, there he is. Mac Hollins almost unowned. So there's that. I don't really see why Diggs should be any more owned than any of those other guys.
I mean, Diggs has been the much more productive receiver throughout the course of the season.
I don't know. Booty, I feel like healthy Booty has been good at times as well.
Certainly more than Mac Hollins.
Yeah. Mac Hollins hasn't really been a big play, a big score guy, but he gets some targets, but not a big score guy. All right, so let's take a look at the flex. Cato is going crazy in here. All right, calm down. It's okay.
Jeez.
All right. Yeah, the Cato is just losing her mind. So that's my pet's time. What are you doing? She doesn't like it. All right. So we got Patriots kicker getting quite a bit of ownership as well. Andy Borregales. Booty down here, 16%. So even in the flex, as I start to look at the flex, I do see some interesting, ownerships here. Hodgins, Booty only 16%. Hollins down to 15% for fairly cheap. They're in the weird zone of pricing.
Yep.
Slayton's also, he's in that 6K zone. And let's see when we start to go down and spend, who is available as a turd. All right, so let's talk about the turd zone, Bobbywow.
Please.
So if we start to go to the lower end of the spending scale, underneath the kickers, DeMario Doug, Isaiah Hodgins, there he is at 3,600, kind of okay. Austin Hooper's there. Man, maybe Bellinger from the Giants as a super turd. He's on the field a little bit. I'm not feeling any of the rest of this.
Yeah, if I'm going to play a backup tight end, I'm more likely to click Belly than I am Hooper, given the price points.
Yeah.
Similar,
but like none of this looks good, Bobbywow. Like this.
No, you're not excited to click anything down here.
As a matter of fact, seeing this is strengthening my resolve that paying up for the most expensive player as captain is not the way to go here.
the difference on this slate is you have a plethora of mid-tier options where typically you have 3 or 4 really pricey guys, and then the mid-tier is kind of like where that cliff is, right? This is a very different slate where you have maybe just 2 or 3 guys that are priced up, and then everyone in the mid-tier where you could kind of rotate anybody in and out.
All right. Quick thought. Must plays. Trevion Henderson, captain or flex, has to kind of be in most of the lineups that you're like. To me, he'll be in most of the lineups that I'm going to make. He's like a must. Drake May gives me that vibe. I think Jackson Dart is probably somebody I'm going to try to get. Like if I'm building my baseline lineup, I want to get Trevion Henderson a captain. I want to try to get May and Dart in there. And then from here, see if it's buildable without being horrible.
Probably throwing like an Isaiah Hodgins in at this point.
Throw
Maybe a
something like
kicker.
that in there. Yep, kicker in there. Who are the kickers? Burrigalis?
Or Andy Milonakis and
Andy
and then
Barekas. And then even from here, though, I don't even need to go there because you're right. You have all these extra options that normally aren't there at the 6K level. So like you can go Theo Johnson and Booty, something Mac Holland. All of these guys are affordable. So this is kind of, I think, a baseline way to build for this slate. Wandale's not. I don't say Wandale's a must play. I like Wandale definitely.
Is he going to get the Gonzo coverage? Is he going to get?
No, but Wandale's too expensive anyway. I don't think he'll get the Gon. I don't know that he maybe a little bit of. I don't think anybody's getting the Gonzo coverage. I think he's going to be where he is. Sometimes it's going to be on Slayton. Sometimes it's going to be on Wandy. It's just, I don't think if you're the Patriots, you're like, oh, we got to stop this guy. No, you're like, do what you do. There's no one on that team that scares us. That's how I would approach it if I'm the Patriots. I would look at the Giants wide receiver group and go, none of these guys scare me. We're not going to change what we do.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to choose one. Wandy or Dave.
That Andy Milonakis reference, that's like the most millennial reference ever. Like who knows who that guy is except for you. Like you gotta be like 35.
Grossness just oozed out of my skin when I said that. I'm sorry. I'm sad we had to revisit that already. That's
even after my time. That's like a different that's the next gen, but the youngsters have no idea who that is. But
you gotta pick one, Wandale or Diggs. Who are you picking?
For me, I like Wandale more than Diggs,
okay.
But I mean, Diggs in general is obviously the better player, but I think Wandale is more critical to his team and his team's success compared to Diggs. They could just fully ignore Diggs for a game and it would shock no one. Look at, Diggs's returns. Look at, they're all over the place. Yeah. 3 targets last week in a competitive matchup that seemed like the easiest matchup in the world. And
should have been the greatest matchup on the planet, right? The Bengals, but
yeah.
The Patriots don't change who they are. The Patriots' identity is their identity, and that's kind of just the story here.
The big thing to me when you look at Diggs this year is the volume's not really there. Like, yeah, he popped for a 12 or an 11 banger, but so many more 3s, 4s, and 5s in there in terms of the target numbers.
Well, if you think that's gross, look at the other Patriots wide receivers because that's consistent relative to the other.
Yeah, they're all like that. So you're like, oh, what about Mac Hollins? Mac Hollins had 6 targets last week. Had a 10 burger one week, but it's just never that good. He's not a bad player, by the way. He's a cool guy.
No, it's fun. He's a fun player.
Cool yeah, he's a cool.
He's in his perfect role. Like this is where he would flourish in this exact role right here.
Salaries come up a bit. He's on the field a lot, so I get it. And then Booty, it's all over the place. But Booty also.
Booty probably arguably the most upside of any of those Patriots wide receivers.
Like Booty's got like a win you a slate in him. You know what I mean? For this price, any of these things are great, but also he's coming off of 2 targets last week where he was on the field for 80% of the snaps, and it was the Bengals.
Yep.
Everything went to Hunter Henry. Let's see where Hunter Henry is. Yeah, everything went to Hunter Henry. Note that Hunter Henry is like the second most expensive wide receiver, but Hunter Henry's another guy. 1,
look at last
2,
week. Yeah.
And then the other 10 are dog shit.
If I had to click on one pass catcher for the Patriots, week in and week out, it'd be Hunter Henry. This week, even if someone said you got to pick one pass catcher, I would pick Hunter Henry.
I think I've been
to
picking
me is
that.
the most. It's tough, but
I've been picking that every fucking week.
well,
Every
I
time we
know.
play Drake May, I say every time we've played Drake May, I've said the same thing. These wide receivers are hard to predict. At least the tight end is only one guy. Seemed like the easiest thing to stack with Drake May was always Hunter Henry, just because who the hell trusts these other guys?
Yeah.
By the way, the minute we think it's Mac Hollins or Diggs or Booty, Pop Douglas pops in and it has a big game. You're like, where the fuck did that come from? But that has happened this year as well. So like this team, look at this. These are not made up things. Like that's already happened this year. Pop Douglas popped. Oh, he went off for a big game.
23 had 23 points in week 9.
Yeah, had a big game. 23-pointer week 9. Where'd that come from? I don't know. It just did. So, of course, Cato is now blocking my screen because she don't like. She's like, I'm going to sit right in your eye direction, so you notice me.
She wants the pets.
She does want the pets. Okay. I don't hate this approach. I think Bobbywow, I think I'm building a lot of Trevion Henderson lineups today, and I'm going to just assume that the Giants kind of difficulties versus the running back position will present them. The Giants have difficulties against wide receivers too, but they are literally allowing the second most points per game in the National Football League to opposing running backs. I'm telling you, I think you're right. You might be on the right track, Bobbywow, that the old double, I don't love it. Let's not go nuts. But the old Trey and Dre combination.
Yeah. No, I think it's viable here. I think the other thing I'll say is I understand the matchup is horrendous, but don't sleep on Tyrone Tracy here. You know, anytime you have a running back, I don't care how, if Devin Singletary pokes his head in every now and then, which he will, anytime you have a running back getting 20 to 25 touches a game, like he did last week, and let's go back to this Jackson Dart thing, it is going to be a more conservative approach with Dart under center. You are going to see Tracy, I think, in theory, kind of keep on with this 20 plus carry or 20 plus touches in the offense. We saw Chase Brown last week. Very similar story. Chase Brown put up a very reasonable score. And I think that score at, whatever price, 7,600, 15, 16, 17 points could absolutely get it done here. So don't write Tracy off just because of the bad matchup, because he's priced really fairly.
Well, yeah, we got to acknowledge 25 touches last week, 24 touches the week before. Let's compare that to Devin Singletary. Now, again, Singletary, 14 touches last week, 16 touches the week before. So it's a lot of both of these guys. I think what the takeaway should be is not necessarily that Tyrone Tracy is worth the price. I actually think maybe Devin Singletary might be an interesting play on this slate because he's getting carries absolutely. Also, and he's in the game by the goal line for whatever reason.
Again, I think Tracy's the more likely to catch some passes. I think if a running back's going to score decently against the Patriots, it's probably a pass-catching guy. But yeah, I think Singletary could be worth some looks as kind of like a value piece.
Yeah. And, further helping these running backs is the fact when you have a running quarterback like Dart, even good rushing defenses have a hard time stopping it because, Dart is it's going to be RPO. A lot of these rushing attempts are going to be RPO. And so
these lines are forced to play a more contained style, which has a tendency to open up some of the middle gaps. Yep.
Yeah. It opens things up a little bit. We've seen it year after year after year with these running quarterbacks, especially one like Dart. You might say, well, Lamar Jackson's a running quarterback. Like, is he? Like ones like Dart that are actively running the football a lot. Like compare that to Hurts. Look how good Saquon Barkley was when Jalen Hurts was a run threat. What's the difference with the Eagles this year? You watch them play. They don't run Jalen Hurts at all. They have almost no design runs for Jalen Hurts anymore. They've ended the practice for some reason. And the result has been much more difficult for Saquon Barkley to find those open spaces. Dart is not doing that. He's still running the football. Like, he is still doing designed runs, and that should keep things a little more open. So we'll be a little more open to these running backs from the Giants in a game against the top-ranked rush defense because, hey, Giants present sort of a different problem. Plus, the Giants have been competitive. Has there been a Dart game that wasn't competitive?
Yeah, I mean,
they've all been competitive.
This is probably going to be their best opponent that they've played. I
mean, they played the Broncos. The Broncos are no. They played the Broncos. They played Denver. They played Philadelphia.
They got smoked.
They beat Philly.
I'm sorry, they smoked. Oh, they did beat Philly.
Yeah,
right.
and
they did beat Philly. That's right.
And they played.
That was kind of like the Dart Ascendance game. I remember now. Okay.
Yeah, I remember when I said play Dart, and everybody was like, "You're fucking nuts" against the Eagles. And then we played Dart against Denver.
What I'm thinking of is a couple weeks later. I think they got smoked by Philly.
They did lose to Philly a couple weeks later, but you know what? Dart did okay anyway. Still put up a 20. Yeah, they lost, but Dart did okay in that one too. And then, of course, the last couple of games.
Oh, yeah, you said has every game been competitive. You didn't say did Dart score well.
That's fair. Yeah, no, that one was not competitive on the road at Philly. But kind of, I don't know, 20 to 30. Yeah, I guess it wasn't competitive, but yeah. But the Giants.
But the point stands. Dart
the Giants offense played competently in that one.
Dart's doing his thing. Yep.
Yeah, the beat of the Chargers was very unexpected.
Dart's a baller, man. That's for sure. He's a competitor.
Yeah, the Chargers won too. I mean, the Giants have been good. That's why I couldn't understand why they fired the coach. That made no sense. I like this approach. Ooh, 50% loss coverage. That's what's up.
Up to $2.50.
Wait, what? What the
Whoa.
shit? Final thoughts on DraftKings, Bobbywow?
I think that's everything for me. I think we covered it all.
Same here. All right, so not very turdly on the slate, guys. We're gonna be operating primarily in the mid zone here. There are I saw outside Hodgins and maybe Hooper, maybe Bellinger in the worst of scenarios are the only viable turds, which effectively mathematically really harms the idea of paying the most expensive captain. So
one other question for you: will you be playing any Giants defense here at 3,200?
My sense is no, but maybe
they're cheaper than Hooper.
Maybe for the Monday Night Magic,
the Monday Night Mayhem.
Yeah,
where you have a $3,200 defense, kind of doing enough.
I mean, how many of these island games do we need to see go different from what we were expecting before we start to just say, you know what, just like the defense, the away underdog defense has a big score like that. That's how about the Bears on Thursday? I mean, it's happening frequently. So we have to, I'm going to acknowledge it a little bit, play a little bit of it, but not much. I mean, I don't have the Patriots are not a team that is handing any kind of points to opposing defenses until Ramondre gets in there. Ramondre changes that when he's in the game. You know, once he's in there, it all changes. All right, let's take a quick gander at FanDuel. But Bobbywow, before I even bring up the ownerships, we already know what to do on FanDuel, right? FanDuel is going to favor quarterbacks and running backs as captains, as MVPs. So let's see what the ownerships tell us. Okay, so here, again, most interesting. So we got 36% Drake May. That makes sense. 15% Dart, 15% Trev, and then just anything else that you can think of.
I'd be hard pressed to go much beyond those three outside of Tyrone. I think Tyrone, you got to have some Tyrone exposure here.
Just in case.
In tournaments. But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, those 4 guys, really tough to make a case for anyone outside of those 4. A compelling case.
Maybe Hunter Henry.
Yeah, like he gets there last week, but yeah, I guess there's no
I'm not
buts.
paying 17-1 for Stephon Diggs.
If Stephon beats me at MVP, I'm going to go ahead and tip my cap to him.
Yeah, I'll just take the
Well
L.
done to you, sir.
At some point, you got to take an L, guys. That's a whole other thing that people don't.
On FanDuel, especially.
Afraid to lose is never going to let you win. So
Get yourself on a T-shirt or something.
I mean, you can't be scared. Money don't make money, but I didn't make that up. That's before me. But I mean, that's really what it comes down to. Trevion Henderson, yeah, definitely. Jackson Dart, definitely. Drake May, sure. I can't even think of anybody else that I'd want to use.
Tyrone. It's Tyrone.
Yeah, a little bit of Tyrone.
It's just because look at the price difference. He's basically $6K less than Drake May. Like that is a sizable difference.
Look at the difference in his prop, though. I mean, let's be real.
Of course, yeah, of course. Like, it's not a great play. I'm not telling you to smash it in cash or anything like that. I'm just saying
the projection
running
here,
back at 3%.
If I run 150 blind right now, all right. I just like it's going. Oh wait, let me go with the prop one, even better. But if I go 150 blind and I just let the optimizer do its magic, I didn't even do props. Wait, what am I retarded? Here we go. All right, here we go. Props. So if I run 150, it's almost all going to be, Dart, Trev, and May. It's not going to just.
It's going to be all Dart and May. All Dart and May.
Yeah. I don't even think we'll get. I'm not even sure we'll get a Trevion Henderson up there. Yeah, a little bit, just a couple of shares of Henderson, and that's about it. But Dart and May almost all the way.
Poor Gallus.
Yeah, that is just kicker is weird. Tyrone also a DraftKings, definitely probably more so on DraftKings than FanDuel.
I think he's both. I think he's a deep tournament play. Okay, let's not get that twisted. He is a low likelihood to pay off at captain or MVP, but he is a deep tournament play, kind of like a pivot.
Yeah, he's not somebody like when I put together sort of a main lineup before, it did not feature that Dart. It's more something along these lines is where I got to on sort of what I would consider to be like a main lineup. Although you can, I don't hate it.
And what I like about Tracy is he's one of the few guys in this mid-range that's guaranteed volume. That's what's appealing about Tyrone Tracy. The Patriots wide receivers, pass catchers, they're far from guaranteed any sort of consistent, significant work. Same with the Giants with Dart in there. Tracy's the one kind of guy that's in this mid-range that's guaranteed 15, 20, maybe even more touches. That's the appealing piece with him.
Yeah. You're locked into some volume. Of course, we're driving volume into the strength of the Patriots defense, which is a bummer, but such is life, right? We've seen weirder things happen, and the main predictor of running back success is definitely opportunities and volume beyond all other things. All right, let's take a quick look at FanDuel here as potential turds. We already know what our MVPs are going to be.
Yeah,
it's just these three, and Tracy a little bit for the 3%, milli maker upside, so to speak. But May have Trev and Dart, definitely. I could see Dart outscoring May even in a Patriots win.
Oh, easily, yes.
Yeah.
The only way he doesn't, I think, is if it's a blowout. If it's a competitive game, I think Dart probably outscores May.
Or if it's a blowout, but where the Giants do nothing. It's one of those games. Yeah, one of those games. Flex position, we're going to try to see who the most affordable sort of values are to make lineups work. Let's see what pay down options might even be reasonable here, Bobby. So let's see here.
Again.
I've got this sorted by salary, so we could kind of just make our way down. Cato, get your paw off my oops. Oh no. Why? She just stretched out and touched the keyboard. All right. So scrolling down, Hunter Henry 7,600, kind of okay. Tyrone at 9,400, certainly a reasonable price for a running back. We got kickers here. Theo Johnson 5,800. Slayton, there we go. I mean, Slayton 52. Hodgins 4K.
Yeah, your values are once again your tight ends, right? Austin Hooper and Bellinger as your like punts. And then Isaiah Hodgins, I think, is maybe the most intriguing guy, 4K or lower, right at 4K.
Yeah, I mean Hooper. I'll give Hooper a nod as well.
Yeah, I was said both tight ends to me are punts.
Yeah,
those guys are punt worthy. Hodgins, a little more intriguing, a little better projection.
And that's mostly it. I would unfriend a lot of these guys and just kind of like, oh yeah, I'll consider some Hodgins. He's on the field as much as anyone. Slayton is just fine too. Hooper and Bellinger, if we have to get really, really, really shitty in terms of the salaries. Let's see what it feels like when you're building one here on FanDuel. So let's say we start out with, again, I'm going to go back to Trevion. Notice that, by the way, Trevion Henderson is much less cheap relative to the quarterbacks compared to what it was on I think DraftKings just underpriced him.
Yes, agreed.
Like he's priced correct here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know, throw Dart in there, throw Trevion. It doesn't matter. I want to get Dart. I want to get this guy. And you're already down to 5K. So once again, to get the killer combo in there, you're down to 55.67 per for the last group. So how do you work? Is it even possible to make good lineups with this trio in here?
You're punting with Daniel Bellinger here. You're punting with Austin Hooper here.
Yeah, you got to play Hooper, you got to play Bellinger or Hodgins,
and then Hodges. You probably got to play, almost got to play two of those guys, but probably at least one.
Yeah, there's no real way. That is terrible. I hate the idea of playing two of them. I don't even like playing one of them.
Yeah, you got Hodges. Now you could probably get up to like a Theo Johnson and then a kicker.
Yeah, this is not like that great, right? So Theo, Hodgins, kicker.
Not the worst. Not great.
No, this does not. It's not that great. Certainly can't get to, a Tyrone or a Wandale or any of that. We might not need those guys. Hunter Henry here, 45.50. Again, like a Hooper. So this is a great kind of. I guess it's a pretty good slate. You're going to have to experiment with lineups that don't have all three of Trevion, Dart, and May in them.
And this is why FanDuel is interesting, because to me on a slate like this, you almost have to play a cheaper MVP so you can squeeze all these guys in, because you want May in your lineup, you want Dart in your lineup, you want Trev in your lineup, but you can't afford them if one of them's MVP. You really got to get low in that turtley zone. You playing all three and one's MVP, you know what I mean? But if you put a Bora Gottlieb at MVP, all of a sudden you can play all three guys, and then the rest of the line doesn't look so gross. I'm just saying, like, it's more interesting in that sense. Whereas traditionally on FanDuel, it didn't matter.
You really do want to get all three of these guys in the lineup. I think the one that is almost if I have Trevion up top and I need to sacrifice one, I don't like it, but I probably have to sacrifice Drake May. Or the other way, Hockey Dad, is just that. If you want to say, just play Drake May, Dart, and maybe not have Trevion, and then build some like that.
Yep.
Basically, on both FanDuel and DraftKings, I think we have this big three. We're going to want to try to get as much of all three in lineups together as we can. But when you have all three together, you're really limited in the alternate versions of the lineup that you could build with any level of credibility. He says Faye Trevion. I mean, maybe in one. I don't feel that at all. I think you just got to mix it up. I think if I'm doing a main lineup, I'm actually just going to play all three and pick a couple of turds and hope that I pick the right ones.
Yeah.
But to try to win tournaments, to try to win tournaments, I think we can alternate with this idea of Henderson being someone that will eat from Drake May's production. So we can almost do an either or with him or May, or maybe, a bet on Trevion Henderson, just kind of like last week. Just, I don't know. It's hard to see that. The Giants are so bad versus the run. This is the game last week that Gibbs went off for 57.
At that point, you almost just play in the Giants defense, right? Like, because Trevion's going to he doesn't need to get 20 points here, 25 points if you're playing him in the flex to be kind of like the nuts flex. You need probably like a 15 to 20.
Yeah. Do not play. I don't like the idea of Borregales. I think his projection is a little too beefed up. So I would knock that down a little bit. Is Hollins 1.2 wide receivers now? I don't really know. Yeah, Mac Hollins is on the field all the time. Cold weather does not affect football games very much. No.
Unless it's extreme cold. That is football weather right there.
That's an average day in Chicago.
That's a midsummer's day.
Yeah, that's like springtime in Chicago. 20 degrees, windy. That's actually not windy, so no, it's not even Chicago level.
No, it's too nice for Chicago.
Yeah, that'd be a nice spring, like a nice April day in Chicago right there.
You get that weather in April and people are out in shorts. No joke.
Yeah. It's a nice day. Yeah, that's all I got, man. FanDuel, the big three. Think of the big three when you're building these lineups today. Trevion, Dart, and Drake. Can't afford all three in every single lineup that we're going to build. Yeah, Bellinger. These are the punts. So when I'm building this approach, it's Hooper's one. We can go down to Bellinger. I'm going to build a lot of versions of these big three lineups and see if I can find that one turd in the mix that opens up that approach. So in order for it to work, Bellinger needs to do something.
Yeah, he does. Probably not a lot. A couple catches I think would do it, but he really hasn't even had a couple catches in a game yet this season.
No, I don't like his chances. I like Hooper more than that. I think of these guys, I actually think Austin Hooper being on the field as much as he is. 4 targets, 3 receptions last week.
That probably gets it done. A 5.4 gets it done.
Not to mention, you throw a touchdown in here, that's super nuts. And I think he's going to be on the field. Remember last week, what happened was in those situations, they could not punch it in with Trevion. It just happened to be Hunter Henry. That was the tight end that dropped into the end zone for the touchdown. But if it's Hooper, look at what he opens up. Like these two, we can go with the big three. If you put Hooper in there, we can do it. It opens up a lot. From here, I can pick another decent pay down, Slayton, Theo, a kicker, Hodgins, and potentially get another kind of stud. There you go. That's your version that has Tyrone in it.
Yeah, I think my bold call, I'm not sure it's even that bold, is one of Tyrone or Ramondre ends up in the nuts lineup here tonight.
Outside of course, the big three with Dart, May, and Trevion.
Just in general. One of those guys will end up as part of the nuts.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah. I would go to the regular projection for the tight end. Where the prop projection is effectively experimenting at field goal kicker. We're just taking the number and compiling it, but
also again at the same time,
force a lot of kicker.
Monday night game showdown could get messy. It wouldn't be shocking to see a kicker do well.
Imagine. Let's see what this looks like. Kicker up top.
It's happened a couple times this season already on FanDuel where kicker it's happened at least once. Kicker at MVP.
It's more than nothing. It's more than zero. If you put the kicker
at
up
MVP,
there,
even more so.
I mean, I don't love it because I don't see the kicker outscoring these quarterbacks in any stretch or in any way. But certainly, I guess if
he doesn't have to outscore. He doesn't have to outscore him.
He
doesn't have to outscore him at that price.
Yeah. But even then, even if you have him in there and you put in the big three, you still kind of have to get the rest of this figured out. And it's not exactly studs, but there's not that many studs on the slate, so it's not like you're not missing out.
You get Booty in there, and you get the Young Huku in there, the other kicker.
Is Young Huku kicking for the Giants?
Yeah,
so that could work.
That's fine.
Yeah,
that lineup's fine.
I'm definitely not putting Pop Douglas at captain. That's a step too far. That's a step too far, guys.
The Bishop's gonna weigh in on that one.
Fun slate, Bobbywow. I took a sneak peek at the Sunday slate coming up. It's like the polar opposite of what we just saw. Lots of great quarterbacks, lots of great spots, lots of high potential offensive spots coming up this week. We got a lot of fun, a lot more football left to play this year. A lot of people, Bobbywow, are on their last week of fantasy football playoffs. This is it.
That's right.
Me and Bobbywow, mano a mano in the DFS Army Dynasty League. First and second. I've got a date with you in the finals in a few weeks.
It's a date.
So this should be a fun one, guys. It is the Dart. Dart is back. We love Dart. Everybody loves Dart.
It's Jackson Dart. You chose Jackson Dart.
Love it. Love her too. She's awesome. I can't tell if she was happy they chose Jackson Dart or upset.
She looks upset to me. If I
You
had to
think she's
guess,
upset? You think you think she regrets being upset that they chose Jackson Dart?
I don't know how any Giants fan could look at this season and be in any way happy. But I suppose maybe
I would
you
be
could...
happy as hell with this season if I'm a Giants fan. Ecstatic.
Oh, yeah,
I could not be happier if I was a Giants fan than what I've seen this year.
That's wild. That's wild.
Absolutely. Could not be happier.
I guess coming from a Jets fan, that's kind of what I would expect. So
yeah. I don't even care about the Giants, but like if I'm a Giants fan, I could not be happier. Imagine what's going to happen when Malik Neighbors is playing. Imagine what's going to happen when Scatterboo comes back.
Yeah, I guess just imagine, guys. Just imagine.
So much potential. And Dart
Giants fans have been imagining for a long time.
No, they haven't. They keep winning World Championship. They keep winning Super Bowls. What are you talking about? They win Super Bowls all the time. Like the Jets fans, we're still talking about 1969. We're still back in the summer of 69.
If we're comparing to the Jets, yeah.
Yeah. Giants won a bunch recently. They're the up-and-coming team. Giants have a bright future ahead of them. And and it's all about Gaston Dart.
The up-and-coming team.
They are. Young. Up-and-coming. Where's Malik Neighbors? They got the best wide receiver in football on IR right now.
It's not going to do any good on IR.
No, for next year. This is all for next year. You got to get ready. Rookie quarterback year is just about figuring out if you got a guy that doesn't suck. And I think they have figured out they have a guy that doesn't suck. And that's what that's what you want in your rookie year. Yeah, it doesn't seem to suck. Yeah. I would say that last year for the Bears, I was not sure that they had a guy that doesn't suck after the rookie year. Now it kind of seems like they do. Maybe. Like they had a guy that doesn't suck. The best thing the Bears did was get that coach. That's the goat.
The Giants just fired theirs.
Yeah, that's a problem. All right, guys. That's going to do it for the Showdown Breakdown. Remember, Cyber25 promo code, CYBER25, is in play for the rest of the day. If you missed it on Friday, you missed it on Saturday, you missed Players Club, you missed just literally putting lineups together that smashed every contest all together as a team. You missed the domination stage. You missed the calls, everything, but you want to get on board. It's like this for all sports where it's not just football at DFS Army. We cover everything and we cover everything extensively. Promo code Cyber25, 25% off VIP. Get in there. Check it out, guys. Good luck tonight. Let's finish out week 13 strong, and we'll be ready for week 14. And of course, yes, can't forget Sharp app. Get in there, start arbing, start taking money back from the sports books. Brandon, we appreciate you. Super chat. That's what's up. Check out Sharp app. You can download it from the App Store, iOS, all that good stuff. and just get to pregame arbing. If you don't like it, do it for a month. It's $69 a month for the pregame arb tool. That and the Proptimizer tool and all the other tools, $69 a month. The live arbs are a little more expensive, but you got to graduate into that. Live in-game arbitrage is not something you want to do day one. You got to work your way into that. Get a feel for it. But I'll tell you right now, Bobbywow, the Proptimizer powered by EV Analytics props and quarter four props, the thing's been a money printer as well. I actually gave one out on Friday. The over on completions, like on our tournament tactics on Friday, I gave the top 3 arbs. They all hit. It's a fun way to bet when you don't lose. When you're green all the time. Another member post their picket for the month of November. They're up $7,000. That's more than people's job. Just arbing in the DFS Army arb channel. He posted his picket. I'm like, dude, you made 76 something. I'll post it later. That's more than a job. Like most people go to work, they don't make that kind of money.
Good stuff.
Yeah, it's really great. All right. Good luck, everyone. Helmets up. We'll see you guys next time. Take care.